Alright, first proper video of the year. I've already messed this intro up so many times. I hope this is the one that goes through. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It is me, ya boy, man, who's still sticking by the plan of one video per week this month. And today, I just really want to talk about some music that was released in 2024 that I loved. 2024 was again another great year for music, not just in the EDM sphere, but in general. You had some of the best projects being released. So much great music was released that it's kind of hard for me to pick and choose what are the ones that I really enjoy. Still though, I want to make this video because there are some tracks and some projects in general that I really want to talk about. Now, before we go on to the proper video, I do have some rules that I set myself when making this video. First of all, I didn't want to talk about tracks that I have already talked about in the channel with singular compilation reviews, my mid-year point video, or other parts where I talked about a song in depth. And that is because I don't want to repeat myself, nor do I want to look like I just listened to a very short amount of music. I do listen to a lot, and I want that to be, shown in videos like this. Second of all, I'm also not going to be talking about the songs that I really enjoyed that have been on the Songs That I've Heard series for the same exact reasons. A lot of times the ratings that I have on those videos are still the ones that I have at the end of the year. Now, I am going to post a playlist with these tracks and more, my favorite tracks from last year, in the description down below. And if you want to also talk about tracks or albums that you've enjoyed as well, you can also put them down in the comment section below. So, without further ado, let's move on with the video. Before we go into the video though, I do want to ask you something really quickly. Remember last year when I talked about a track on my underrated tracks video by the name of Story of DJ Goober by Violet Pony? Well, she released an album last year, and it's not the one with that track in it.
You know how we do it?
Yep. The whole album, Monarch of Monsters, is my favorite project of 2024. It is so good that I want to make a video talking about this album. That was the album that I mentioned on my best of 2024 video. So you might be wondering, JP, if you're gonna make a whole video about Monarch of Monsters, why talk about it right now? Well, that is because there is so much about this that it's difficult for me to not just mention it on this video right here. See, the first time that I heard about Monarch of Monsters was in a new Luminum server when a lot of people were talking about how striking the album cover was. At that time, I didn't really go out and listen to the album, but when I did, I realized how big of a mistake that was. The album is one of the most beautiful yet tragic projects released last year. Like, there's so much in this that I want to dissect when I make my proper video. But for now, let me just say, this album, just talking about the quality of the tracks alone, is one of the best. Violet Pony here makes such amazing music, and I'm talking about in every aspect. The instrumentals, the vocals, the composition, everything is top notch. I might have not been the type of person that listens to a lot of progressive rock, noise rock, that type of stuff, but even I cannot deny that this is an amazing project that you should listen to the first instance it gets. Trust me when I say this, Jorei has not stopped cooking some of the best dubstep that you can listen to out there. And last year, my favorite track of hers that I haven't talked about in this channel before is the song Death Plums. Everything about this track is insane. You have some of the craziest flows in both of the drops, which is something that Jorei does insanely well. And on top of that, a sense of intensity coming with the beat and the drums by themselves. But the thing that really makes this track one of the best songs of the year is actually the things outside of the drops, the little orchestral bits of this song. You have an intro that is in like a completely different time signature than the rest of the song, and the transition into the drop pulls you in nicely. And then you have this mid section, which is just very dark and somber and very mysterious. Jorei absolutely cooked with this song. In fact, she cooked throughout the whole year. Every single one of the EPs she's released has amazing music in it. I really enjoyed the output that she had throughout the year. Plums is just the standout track for me, but it's definitely not the only track that I have enjoyed from her. Incautious by ESKVY was a song that I was addicted to when it originally dropped. It's another great piece of evidence to show that ESKVY is one of the brightest and biggest names of the underground scene, and a name that you have to go and listen to. Everything about this track is just magnificent. The ambiance that he constructs from the whole song, the crazy sound design. But the thing that I absolutely adore off of this track more than anything else are the B sections in both of the drops. They pretty much take the flow and sound design off of the first parts, but they just make them just tinier, and it's just so beautifully executed, especially the second drop with that more minimalistic snare. Like, it's just amazing what ESKVY has been doing. This is just one of my favorite tracks for a reason. ESKVY, keep doing what you're doing, because you are doing amazing things overall. I'm just gonna say this straight up. It is an absolute power move, releasing an album of the year contender in the beginning of 2024, and then near the end, release a VIP version that is somehow better. I don't know how the fuck Eliminate was able to cook these tracks, but 404 is absolutely an insane, like, it's just, I don't know how to describe it. I'm lost for words. Out of all the tracks of a 404, the one that I really enjoyed the most, I'm a basic bitch, I know, it was the MOREPWR VIP, Twisted. MOREPWR was already my favorite track off of Get Off the Internet, with how in your face it was, and somehow Twisted was able to grab what the original MOREPWR did and just make it better. Now you have this more techno-oriented bass line for the first drop that the first time I listened to it, I was half expecting my monitor to just blow up for how just strong it was. In the middle of it, you have this switch up to the more wonky sound design that Eliminate is known for, and it just fits the track so well. And then on top of that, you have a second drop that just does what the second drop of the original MOREPWR does, better objectively. The repetitive flow here just works so well with the sound design and the how the track is built. It's just an amazing face melter is how I can describe Twisted. And the whole album of 404 is like this. It just grabs what the original tracks did and subverts your expectations with it. You still have, for example, the Come Closer VIP, I think Poison Oak VIP. I'm not going to make the same mistake that I did last time I talked about this album. Going into drum and bass, which was something that I was expecting from the original. Really glad that Eliminate did that. It's a power move, like I said in the beginning. Like, kudos to Eliminate for just trolling everyone this way. Yeah, there's a reason why this was the first track I put on my Insurgency mix last year, and it was not just because TurboFury was right before me. As he was working on this track, I already knew that this was going to be one of my favorite tracks of the year. Virtual Impact comes in trying to achieve one thing: being the most fun song possible, and it does that with flying colors. You already get that on the first Zave-like Complextro with the melodies and the samples and how everything just has this beautiful synergy. Then you have a really nice mid-section that transitions really well into a hard-hitting yet very colorful, color-based melodic dubstep drop that puts a lot of color-based producers to shame. This track is a great blend of just a fun little track to put on just to, dance around a bit, and headbanging material. If you want a track that can combine these two elements really well, go listen to Virtual Impact and to a lot of TurboFury's discography in general. Just an absolutely amazing song. Yep, the whole discography in 2024. I don't know what the fuck Splitter took in the beginning of the year to be one of the most cracked producers, but I want some of that right now. Splitter had an amazing 2024, not just with the Circus EP released really early in the year, but then a lot of their singles, like for example, Nerf This, and even the fun remix that they did with Skybreak of Sticky by Tyler the Creator. So good that a user on Twitter accused both of them of racism. Yeah, it had to be Twitter. Like, their sound design was immaculate. The ability to just make very clean but very nasty sounding basses and crazy flows on top of all of that. I know I'm mentioning flows a lot in this video, but like, that's just something that I really like. Flows, and Splitter delivered every single time. On top of that though, a very underrated thing about their music this year was how they transitioned from things like build-ups into the drops. You very rarely notice them actually doing that until the drop hits you. Just again showing that it's not just about who has the most insane drop, but also who has the best composition, who can make the most out of the runtime that the tracks have. And it was fun just listening to every single song they released, and they're still continuing doing that because just a few days ago they released an EP. You just don't flex like that. You don't just start the year by saying, hey, here's one of the best sounding EPs you're gonna get the whole year. Go fuck yourself. I still don't know how they did it, okay? See, I would make the whole EP joke here, but let me explain it first. This Won't Be My Grave is probably my favorite dubstep EP of 2024, and that is because of the work zeroth put when making these tracks. The ability to just combine so many different elements and styles to redefine what it is to make dubstep music is something that was not lost on me when first listening to this. Every single one of these tracks has something that stands out that makes you just want to listen to more. For example, that one part in Limbo. However, there is one small problem with this, and it's not a bad problem. The track Natural ends up being in a very tricky situation here. Put this on any other project or just release it as a single and it would still be an amazing track. The thing is that when you have 3 10 out of 10 tracks right before that, the 8 or 9 out of 10 song is not going to have an easy job in standing out. The whole EP is absolutely great and I would recommend listening to it. It's just that Natural is stuck between a rock, a hard place, one of the most insane drops of 2024. Now, for the last track of this video, I want to make good on my promise in the update video of last year of giving spotlight to more underrated tracks, and Being One by House of Protection fits that definition perfectly. I did not know about House of Protection before listening to this song, but I fell in love with this the first time I listened to it. It's this sort of slow drum and bass that you don't really see producers do anymore. The whole track is just a beautiful vibe. It carries this energy throughout the whole song that isn't that type of energy to make you stand up and start busting moves and shit, but just to kind of reflect on yourself a bit. The production is absolutely gorgeous with the pads and the melodies and the synths, and on top of that, a great vocal performance. It's just a very, very lovely tune to listen to. It's another artist that I will start listening to a lot more for 2025, and I hope that you guys do as well, because just from this track alone, I believe that House of Protection deserves it. So yeah guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Really excited to kickstart 2025 on this channel officially with this one. Before we wrap this up though, I do want to say some really quick things. First of all, I would like to apologize if my reviews in this video were not the best. I do tend to repeat myself a lot when I'm talking about projects like these ones that I've absolutely loved listening to. And that is something that I want to try to work on, but it does, it is something that I tend to struggle with. So if that came out, I truly do apologize for that. Second of all, I hope that you guys enjoyed the new thumbnail for this one. I've been trying to explore a little bit with working with new thumbnails. That's been an idea on my mind because my thumbnail game has been absolutely fucking garbage so far. I wanted to say thank you to zeroth because he was the one that came up with the idea of putting up borders for the thumbnails. I'm going to probably explain this better on my social media pages, so if you want to see exactly what I'm talking about, you can check them out there. But yeah, that was really just what I wanted to say. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I now need to stop recording because my throat is starting to feel really fucking inflamed again. So that's just proof that I need to drink some water. So let me just quickly do that before I fucking pass out.